This week's Lionhearts Children's Academy Player of the Week goes to Riley Trevino of the Spartans. The Spartans had a tough game last night, and though they were up at the half, they ended up losing. And Riley Trevino, who was on the bench, after one of the opposing team scored a game-winning touchdown, on the way back, Riley told the girl that had scored the touchdown, "Great job," an ultimate act of sportsmanship. The two don't even know each other, but yet Riley understood that that was a major accomplishment for her. So Riley, great job. Your character shines through. Your hard work shines through. And there's none other that is deserving of the Lionhearts Children's Academy Player of the Week than you, ma'am. So keep playing hard. Keep putting your heart out there. And most importantly, keep being a good sport, because that truly pays off. Great job. This week's Coach of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Irrigations and Lawns, actually goes to a referee, Mr. Richard Kale. Richard, though not a coach, has coached up these kids this season in a phenomenal way. You try explaining to a kindergartner and a first grader an imaginary line of scrimmage and trying to get them on said line of scrimmage. That's super hard. He's patient. Though he's not perfect, his heart shines every Monday night. So Richard Kale, thank you so much for the time that you put in, for the heart that you have in this. You are this week's Coach of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Irrigations and Lawns. All right, welcome to episode 52 with Winning with the Home Team. I'm Katrina.
And I'm Todd.
And today, man, I'm so excited for this episode. The title of this is called The Screen Scene. And if you are a parent, whether you have a kid that is, a 2-year-old who's watching, some kind of 2-year-old appropriate show, I would hope, or if you have an 18-year-old, you know how influential screens are all around us. And so today we have as guests the Robesons. We have Thomas and Rachael.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Yeah. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. So you guys wrote this book called The Phone Book. And as Todd and I were reading it, the headline is Helping Kids with Their First Phone Book. This is a book for ages, would you say 8 through 14, 15 years old? We both love the language of this book because, first of all, it's thin, which means it held my attention.
Right.
It held my
That's the
attention.
first draw. Yeah.
The chapters are super short, but it's also written in a way that kids can understand. And so I'm not going to do this any justice. Why don't you guys take over and tell us more about the phone book and why you guys wrote it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Thomas, Rachael, we have 4 kids, and Grace is our oldest. She's a junior in PCA, and Nathan is a sophomore. Zeke is a 4th grader, and then we have Luke, who is a 5-year-old. So we are at all the different stages
literally
of life. And so really this just came out of our experiences of walking through Grace and Nate, giving them their first phone. But it also started, I was a student pastor at Gospel City.
Yeah.
And so we were walking through the same thing with our students between, I guess, 2014 to 2020.
Right.
And so a lot of families were just struggling with what to do with technology.
Yeah.
And so it was born out of just all the experiences that we had and conversations that we've had.
Yeah. I think, when you think about the phone, obviously it's here to stay, right? You want kids to feel connected to at some extent, but then also there are so many dangers that are involved in just handing a kid a phone and saying, "See you later."
Yeah.
So I love how in your book, you outline several things that are important. Rachael, speak a little bit about the chapters and kind of how you guys outlined all of that.
Yeah, so we really thought through what were the top things that parents were facing with their kids. And to be fair, when phones came out, parents, we really just didn't know. We didn't really think through the capabilities of having a computer in your hand, even for us, much less for our children. And I know when we first got phones, it was kind of fun to play little tic-tac-toe games and things while you were waiting for dinner to come to the table. But then it kind of grew into more where younger and younger people started to get phones. And then you add the internet and the social media platforms. And so our goal with the book was really to create something evergreen that would never go away. It's just very big concepts for kids that will always be true for them.
Right.
How will you use this tool? So well, first of all, it's yellow because we grew up with, I don't know if y'all grew up with the phone book,
pages,
the yellow pages. We grew up with that, and we thought it was kind of funny for us, for parents, and they would get that. But then we tried to make each chapter like a tool that goes in your toolbox. And so we asked the kids to really consider the phone to be a tool. So a tool, if you hit your thumb, it can really hurt if you hit your thumb with a hammer. And then, you want to speak?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just add to, we wrote it for the kids.
Yeah.
And that way the parents, I don't know about y'all as parents, sometimes I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so we just made this as easy as possible so that the parent can just hand it to the kid.
Right.
And they can walk chapter by chapter with their kid and ask questions to go along.
How much input did you get from your own kids in writing the book?
Oh, yeah. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Still do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a line in there about if you throw your phone, you'll break it. It's because my daughter, her first phone, she got mad at a boy, a sixth grade boy told her off, and actually we're really good friends with this boy now, so we laugh about the story, but she got really mad and she took her phone and she threw it at him, and it broke. My phone.
Imagine that.
Imagine that,
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And so we didn't think we needed to write that, but
Right.
we learned that we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
through lots of experience.
How are they feeling now that you guys are accomplished in writing the book? How do they feel about it?
I mean, they like to make fun of us.
They
when
do. The older ones do. The younger ones are super proud.
Yeah.
But even the older ones, they'll say, you know what, that was really important.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah. They're on
Good.
the other side of that somewhat.
Right.
So
Yeah. They're on their way to being parents someday. Well, they'll appreciate it
That's
a lot
right.
more.
Right,
That's right.
right,
Yeah.
right. We also wanted to really talk to the kids about digital footprint because, we love, what's the state park in Cleburne?
Oh,
Dinosaur.
Yeah, Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we love going there.
Yeah.
And we love seeing the footprints, and we love talking about how old those things are and how God created, so many years ago, and we can still see what he created and be in all of that.
Yeah.
And so we were talking to our kids, hey, any pictures you take, that is part of your digital footprint. Even if you don't post them, even if you don't send them,
Right,
they're in
right.
the cloud, which
Yeah.
is hard because it's not a black and white thing for these minds to absorb.
It's an abstract,
Right, but we wanted, hey, we know we don't see dinosaurs now, but we can see their footprints.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And so in the same way, whatever you take pictures of, whatever you send, whatever you screenshot, those things are going to be recorded forever.
Yeah.
And so be
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
Will kids always be wise?
No.
I mean, no. Their frontal lobe is still developing.
Right.
But we can at
And we're
least
sinners.
we can
Yeah.
talk about it.
Sure.
We can
Sure.
set that bar. And
Yeah.
then when they mess up, we can talk to them about grace, which is
Yeah.
Right.
our favorite subject.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
we named our kid Grace.
Hopefully they think about the digital footprint and they before they actually do something.
Right.
And they're like,
Yeah.
weigh the
Let
consequences.
me think about
Yeah.
this for a
Yeah.
second. Yeah.
I love your rule that you guys have in there. It's the grandma rule.
The grandma
Yeah.
rule.
Yeah.
If you're taking a picture or posting something that that your grandma would disapprove of, that's it. Just don't do it. Like that's the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they love their grandmothers, and so that kind of was born out of that
Yeah.
of like, hey, if you don't want to show it to Mimi or Grandma, then you don't want to show
Yeah.
it to the world.
Yeah.
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 So again, this phone book, it's made up of just practical things. Before you hand your kid a phone, this is more of a contract with them. There's I think 8 or so chapters, and chapter by chapter, you just go through things that we had already talked about.
And it's opportunity for them to sign that,
Yeah.
which I think for kids, there's this sense of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
I when we go to the doctor's office and we have to sign initial each thing, it's an opportunity for them to say, oh, I've really read this and
Yeah.
Right.
I understand it. And,
Yeah.
and you can talk to them about each circle. Hey, as soon as you come to a circle, come and talk to
Yeah.
me, and then you can talk to them about
Yeah.
what they've learned.
And it also provides some accountability.
It does.
You know, you've read this. Now, you know, when you've stepped out of that boundary, hey, let's come back to this really quick. I mean, you signed this. Let's talk about why you did the thing that you did.
I mean, that's where it really started with Grace is we wrote out the contract and went through it step by step. And then the book came after the contract. Yeah.
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 How old were your kids when you first gave them a phone?
6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah. We were hoping to wait till 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 6th grade. Now, Grace would have, and Nathan, they would have wanted it in 2nd grade.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
the end. But to be fair, it was the end of 6th grade. So it was the summer. So we had a little bit more time
That's
to
right.
walk through it with them. And that's the other thing I would say. I do say this to parents a lot. Hey, if you don't have time to really walk through this with your kid, don't give it to them.
Yeah.
Not
That's
yet.
good.
Not yet. Like, don't put that on yourself. You're the adult. And I have to remind myself of that all the time,
Yeah.
too. Oh, I get to make the rules. Because it's so important for it to be done well. Wait, you know,
Yeah.
Grace just got social media. She's
Yeah.
16 and a half. She just got social media because I said, baby, I don't have time to really walk you through what these things mean and how to do this well. And so we waited till the summer until I had time, and then we
Yeah.
made time together.
Yeah.
So
And we realized, like, when our kids go to start driving, like, we put them through the paces, right?
Yep.
Right.
They go through
Yeah.
a course. They have to do so many hours of driving together to be ready to go drive on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
And so why not do the same type of thing with the phone, which really opens up the whole world to
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have so much exposure.
you
Right.
really do.
So I'm going to play the role of a parent because I am one, and you guys are the experts. So when, like, our youngest, well, a lot of our kids, they didn't get phones till they were in 7th grade, 8th grade.
So good.
But what we dealt with was, well, my friend, all my friends. So what does that conversation look like for parents to have with their children when they're getting that kind of pressure?
We first made a decision together, Rachel and I, of like, okay, when do we want to give the phone to our kids? And then because they were starting to ask really in 2nd grade,
Yeah.
can I have a phone?
Yeah.
And so once we decided, okay, we're going to wait till junior high,
Yeah.
we just told them that. They just said, hey, this is when we will give you the phone. And so you can anticipate that and we'll celebrate that together.
Yeah.
And so it made it more of a coming of age
Yeah.
celebration
That's good.
versus, you know, you can't have it. You can't have it.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I waffled a few times, and I'm really thankful that we made the decision together.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Jointly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when someone is feeling weak, that the other one can be strong.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. And then the other thing we talk about a lot, which has to do with the phone, but has to do with just being a Christian, is like, hey, you are holy and you are set apart. And what that means is sometimes that's going to be really hard. But guess what? You're not alone. You have us.
Right.
You have the Holy
Right.
Spirit of God. And then anytime we have an opportunity to point out, you know, how this was a trap, right? We're like, that's the trap we're talking about. We want to keep you out of those traps, but hey, we also want to show you how to get out of the trap if
Yeah.
you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, and so hopefully parents are encouraged, hey, come up with a game plan and then be strong together.
Yeah.
And then if you could find one or two friends that would maybe do that too,
Yeah.
then your kid wouldn't feel so alone.
Right.
Good.
But I got to be honest with you, we were some of the only ones. But now that all this research is out,
Yeah.
it's becoming a trend to wait. And I love that because I
Yeah.
feel like for Zeke, it's going to be so much easier to say, no,
Right.
we're waiting.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for Grace, it was really hard. We didn't know the data yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know that 5th grade girls, the incidence of suicide attempts is like 75% more
Wow.
in just 5 years.
Wow.
And they immediately think it's because of the social media, all of the pressures and the envy and the jealousy that's breeded there as their frontal cortex is being developed.
Yeah.
They don't understand the weight of these things.
Yeah.
And guys, suicide,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
cutting themselves, like that is ridiculous for a phone. And so I got mad about that is one of the reasons why I wrote
Yeah.
the book
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, what are
Yeah.
we doing to these
Yeah.
babies? What are we allowing
Right.
in their hearts and their minds? It shouldn't be that way. Child
Yeah.
should be, it should be so fun.
Yeah.
It should be so great.
Yeah.
And I mean, we as adults, we compare like, oh, they got to go on that trip. I wish
Yep.
I could go on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
trip to Italy.
Yeah.
And so how much more it's amplified for a teenage girl or a
Right.
teenage boy.
Yeah. It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, I'm a parent as well. And so I'm sure you guys have done the research. Why wait until 16 for social media?
That's a really good question. So part of it is the frontal cortex being developed. Part of it was just my timing as a mom and some of the things we were going through this year. I just needed more time. The other thing is Thomas made the point, hey, we're about to hand her car keys. Let's not give her one more thing to be distracted about. Oh, her Instagram is going off, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why we waited. But there's really no magic number. I would just say if you're, and this is a faith-based podcast, so I'll say if you're praying about it, like the Lord will help you. He wants us to be successful as shepherds of our children, and he'll help us know, you know what, they're mature enough. And I did see some things in Grace where I was like, she is making some really good decisions, and she is doing it without me, lording over her. And so I think she's ready.
Yeah.
So,
And we initially, I wanted to wait till after high school.
Yeah. As a dad.
Yeah.
Right.
You can get married when
no
you're 30.
dating, no
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
But as we were having conversations about it, we realized, it would be so beneficial for her if we were able to be around her and parent her through some of the harder things when she first gets it.
Right.
So we kind of went backwards, let her get her car keys, and then it was about 6 months later that summer we were handing over social media to her.
Got it. Rachel, can I just can I get in your living room and can I ask, how did that training session with Grace go about social media? What were some things that you guys covered?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that. So I told her, listen, I'm not worried about a stranger getting into your Instagram and tricking you. You're smart enough now. We've had a lot of conversations about stranger danger and what that looks like. I said, what I'm really worried about the most is envy. And for a girl, it's how they look, it's where they went, it's who their friends were. And I said, it's such a well-crafted trap for us to fall into, to think that you have to have that same skincare from Sephora or you have to have that same car. You know what? You're only beautiful if you do this and you have this and you're wearing this. And what a way to live. You ruin relationships with those folks, but also with yourself and with your creator. And so she listened. And honestly, it was so cool. We had a 3-hour drive this summer to a wedding. She said, Mom, did you know that this person got married? And did you know that this person died? Yeah. Did you know that this person is dating this person? Yeah. She goes, Mom, it's so much information.
Yeah.
And she'd only been on Instagram for 10 days, you guys.
And she's already overloaded.
She did. And then she said, I'm so glad you and Daddy made me wait. And I was like, I'm trying to drive.
It's worth it.
Thank you, Lord. And so that was worth it to me. So if I can just encourage moms, because it was so hard. All her friends had it so much earlier. And they're all following me. So I'm seeing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank God she didn't see this, because she didn't see that she was left out. I saw it.
Yeah.
And I would just thank the Lord that she didn't see it. We could preserve a little longer just her innocence about people and just her love for people wasn't messed with. It will be messed with at some point, but not yet, And so and she's just handling it beautifully. And she even said, you know what? I'm going to get this group together and we're going to go and we're going to be who we are and have fun together. And she doesn't worry so much because her frontal lobe is more formed. She can make those decisions and not base them off of social media.
Wow.
That's good.
So,
yeah.
And Thomas, as a dad, one of the things that I struggle with the most, we're protectors of our family, right? And that's what we're responsible for. And, my kids are by and large pretty good, I think. But then I would hear my son talking to somebody or he's playing a game with somebody. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'll show you. And he's happy to show me, but it makes me worry because I don't realize technologically how advanced this stuff is and how they can access so many other people in gameplay. So how does a father, do you have to read up on all this stuff all the time on the new technology? How do you walk through that with your children to protect them?
I think first it's an ongoing conversation. This is just the start, is the book for parents. And then after that, it's continual conversations. And I mean, you being present in the home, I think, is a huge win.
Right.
Hearing those conversations,
Right.
and you can just, it's not a big deal because you're having lots of little conversations.
Right.
And so they don't feel like they've done something wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Because they're just
it's just part of the
being
conversation.
kids, right?
Yeah.
We did it without the technology as kids.
Yeah.
They're doing it with the technology.
Exactly.
Thomas won't let them have gaming in their room. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. So we have
he's been
it set
strong
up.
about that.
We have it set up in the TV room, and so if they want to play, we get to all hear about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we know if they're being.
I can relate. I can relate to that. Yeah. I want them to think that I'm way more technologically advanced than I am.
Right.
No, they know you're not.
They know I'm not, though.
Yeah. But for those that maybe are unaware, why is that so important to not have video games in their room?
Well, I mean, like the same thing with the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Video games is the same thing. Anytime we take something into the room, close the door, we are just susceptible to making bad choices. And so we want to set up our kids to be successful. And so we just don't allow it. We say, we have conversations in public space in our house. And so even when they first got their phones, and Grace wanted to go have a conversation with a girlfriend, right? And just have teenage talk. We still said, hey, you need to be in the living room. I know you want to be away from your brothers. We get that. But you can't be in your room. That way we can intervene if something's being talked about that doesn't need to be talked about.
Yeah. That's huge. And I think, I think listeners probably could go one of two ways with this conversation. The first being, very affirmative. The other is, okay, this is all a good idea, but the practicality of this is incredibly hard. And so I think to your point that you guys said, being together as a team, making sure that you're on the same page as a team. I mean, we want the home team to win, right? And having, boundaries around screens are so huge, man.
Yeah.
So I know that you wrote this. This is the basic phone book. But are you in the process of maybe writing another book?
Maybe. And I will say this to your last point.
Yeah.
I have a lot of dear, dear friends that are amazing Christian women that are single moms. And I would say, make sure you're in a church. Like this podcast is brought to you by a church, a local church, the Lake Church. And Thomas grew up, his youth pastor was like his father figure.
Yeah.
And he discipled him. And so you need men in your life and other women in your life to come along and say, yep, your parents are right. So when you are having a weak moment, you can call a friend, you can phone a friend and be like, will you please encourage my child in the ways of Christ? And so that's one beautiful thing about the church. And hopefully we will get to write another book about social media. We're learning a lot. So we did give our child, Gracie, an account, and I don't think she'd mind me sharing this story. It really wasn't her fault because I honestly almost made the same mistake. There's a new phishing scam out there on Instagram where somebody will take a picture of a friend that you already have. So they'll somehow find that friend. Maybe they have an open account, which we can talk about that. Their accounts need to be closed. And we had the Instagram teenage account for Gracie, which basically allows you to monitor how much time they spend on the app.
Okay.
That's about all it does, is what I've learned.
Okay.
So this girl reached out, and this younger girl in our youth group reached out and said, hey, I lost my account. Will you click this link to help me get it back? And so she does, and it automatically logged her out of Instagram. And then it had her put her password in. Well, then whoever had done that got her account and took over her Instagram account.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so it's a common thing. Somebody tried to do it to me, and it sounded a little weird. And I said, oh, can you tell me how we know each other? And then they went away. And I was like, oh. And I just hadn't told Grace about that one yet because it was such a closed teen account.
Yeah.
Right.
What I was surprised about is that Instagram wouldn't let me take over the account and push that person off. So teen accounts are great, but they're limited.
Yeah.
And so it turned out we had to just shut the whole account down. And we reported it. It took about 48 hours. They shut the whole account down, and Gracie had to start all over again, building her friends and everything.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it had only been a couple of weeks, but we learned something from that. And I said, well, this young lady I said, that wasn't her. You realize that wasn't her. Somebody just took her likeness and made you trust them.
Yeah.
And then they took over your account. And so it was a great, we talked about what, like, other ways that those kinds of things can happen. And so, in Snapchat, I kind of hate Snapchat. I've not had good experiences with it. The filters are hilarious, but I've not heard one good story from Snapchat, you know, and with AI now, they're creating nudes out of just people's pictures. Wow. And we had one girl, that's what happened, and it was spread around the school, and it just almost destroyed her. Wow. And so just helping kids, hey, just stay off of that, and then you're not bait, you know? Yeah. And Facebook is great. It's more of a professional sort of like, I'm trying to get a job. So we'll end up doing that probably her senior year. But right now it's just Instagram, and we're just kind of seeing how we do with it. And then we'll add to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will go back to technology, like how do you go about knowing what to keep up with?
Yeah.
One of the tools that we used as parents was Bark, and Bark Technologies makes this app that helps you kind of monitor what's going on your kid's phone, what contacts are on there. It can even, send you an alert to your email or to your phone saying, hey, they're having this conversation. This is what's being said.
Okay.
And
that's an app that parents can download.
Right.
Yeah.
Bark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a free app?
It's a free app. You pay a yearly fee. I think it's like $100 or $120 a year.
So worth it.
So worth it.
Yeah.
100%.
We had a few times where it alerted us that a suicide conversation was going on. But we were able to just, hey, and the kid, he was just, mouthing off, but we were able to reach out to his parents and say, hey, like, this is really embarrassing. We hate to bring it up. That's another thing. I would just say, hey, I'm embarrassed. I know you're embarrassed. Please, let's not be embarrassed. It's just our kids being kids.
Yeah.
And then he was able to address it and say, he's mad at me right now because I told him he had to clean his room. And so that's what he's saying.
Right.
That's kind of what they're being trained to say, though, in a lot of ways. So,
and we've we're scaling back the Bark, and we've ramped up Life 360 now.
We have drivers.
So
for sure.
Just being flexible with as your kids grows.
That's a good point. So what do you say to parents that say, I just, I want to make sure they have their own privacy. Like, I don't want to invade on that. What do you tell parents?
I would say, I think that's great to a point, but just like parenting without technology, you still want to know what's going on in your kids' lives.
Yeah.
And so Bark does a great job of just, if it's keywords, suicide, it's cussing, it's alcohol, drugs, that's when it's going to send you an alert to let you know, hey, you might want to go check the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
And it could not be your kid, just somebody in the group message that's saying those things that you just want to know,
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we would, investigating cases that we would find. You're right. You said it before. Like, this will absolutely wipe out teenagers' lives. Like, they just can't handle a lot of the fallout from some of this stuff. And the issues always came up when parents would always come back and say, I just didn't want to look at their phone because I respect their privacy. Well, your child is doing X, Y, and Z and sending it out to people. And you have no idea. So what are you truly protecting, their privacy or them? Yeah. And it's such a, I know it's age appropriate and that kind of thing, but if you don't stay involved in your kids' lives, you don't know what's going on. Yeah. Somebody is going to get to them, and that's why your point that it starts in the home and really making them understand. What sticks out to me the most for you guys is that it's all about the conversations that you're having with your kids beforehand. And so your kids are way more likely to be like, yeah, my mom wants to look at my phone, or my dad wants to go through my pictures or whatever. They're more likely to do that if that conversation has already been established.
Absolutely.
Whoever pays the bills. That is who owns the phone.
Yeah.
That's what
they know that.
Yeah, they
know that we have open access to their phones. And so I think that's a good thing.
And we say, hey, Daddy has open access to my phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have open access to his phone. We have nothing to hide. Secrets are not allowed. Privacy is encouraged.
Yeah.
but secrets are not allowed.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we
that's
can,
good.
you know,
I
we
like
can,
that.
yeah, we can have a really joyful life because we have nothing to hide and, you know,
Living in the light.
living in the
Yeah,
light
that's it.
and
Absolutely.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say if there was a mom or dad watching? Maybe they have a 13, 14, 15-year-old, and they have social media and they have seen the effects of social media. Is it too late to take that away? Or how would you handle that? What would you say to a mom that's like, you know what, man, like I know what you're talking about. I know this is true. I've seen how it's affected my son or daughter, but it's too late. Like, what would you say to that?
I would, and we've actually had to have these conversations with friends before. Of, it's okay to pull back for a season. You know, it's not forever. It will feel like forever for your kid.
Yeah.
But it's okay to pull back and reestablish some good pathway forward for our kids. Do you have a story of?
I would just say I
times?
really feel that. Like, I feel that deeply. And there's so many things in my life where I'm like, I think it's too late. And I always, if I really press pause for a second, it's always the enemy.
Yeah.
Because what about redemption? No.
Yeah.
So I would say, practically speaking, with Grace and Nate, we would have phone-free weekends where it would say, hey, like, this isn't a punishment.
Yeah.
This is, and it would take them a good few hours to detox.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, well, maybe we really
That's
were.
telling.
Yeah.
Maybe we really were. And this
Yeah.
was before social media. This was just texting with friends,
Yeah.
right? And so it's honestly good for us to take a break from our phones, right?
So I'm going to back you up on
Guilty.
that. Yeah. I am 49 years old. And when I walk into my mother-in-law's house, she has a basket and your phone goes in the basket.
Oh my gosh, I love your mother-in-law.
Yeah, because hey, we're here to spend time together. You're not otherwise, and it's true. We'll all be on the couch on our phones.
All on our
Yeah.
phones.
You know,
Yeah.
and so there's something to that. And we've had conversation after conversation about what does it look like when you get up in the morning? What's the first thing you reach for?
Oh, yeah.
It's this thing.
Yeah.
Instead of reading scripture
Yeah.
or going to prayer,
Yeah.
you know, and it
Drinking
makes such
some water.
Yeah,
I mean,
something. Yeah, something different.
Yeah,
It makes
that's
such a
true.
huge difference.
Yeah.
And we model that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
up to us.
And you know, as school has just started and we're getting into new rhythms, I'm like, just reminded of like, what am I modeling for my kids
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
week?
Yeah.
Right.
And
And they do
usually it's
not
not
sleep
great.
with their
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah.
They don't sleep with their phones.
They don't sleep with their phones. They those phones sleep in our rooms.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's good.
Their beds are in your rooms.
Mhm.
Yep. Man, this has been good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming
Yeah.
on.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
having
Yeah.
me.
Yes. That was great.
Anything else, Todd?
Is there anything in this book that you feel like we haven't talked about that people need to know?
Yeah.
Like the most important thing that you hope parents take away from this?
I think our biggest hope would be that it's super easy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it is.
for any parent to grab it
Mhm.
and hand it to your kid and not feel like you don't have enough information. You're not
Yeah.
technology with it. You're just handing it to them, let them read a chapter, then let's talk about it.
Cool.
And so that was our biggest goal in going forward with this, just to help other parents
Yeah.
with what we're doing.
It can
dealing
feel
with.
very overwhelming because
It can.
things are always changing.
Yep.
And so we follow a couple of really great folks online. Protect Young Eyes is one. And he has an incredible ministry where he will tell you all the new things coming out, all the new
Yeah.
laws. I reshare all of his stuff because he's just so on it. He works with police. He works with, he's a nonprofit, and he's always putting up-to-date content out there. Bark is another great resource. Gab is another
Yeah.
great resource.
Yeah.
We love them both, and they're committed to helping parents make it easy for them because let's just face it, we need something a little easy.
Yep.
It's very overwhelming, and then it changes in 24 hours.
Yep,
You know?
exactly.
So this book is really, it's evergreen. It will never change. It's the basics that you want. It's manners.
Yeah.
It's basically manners for
Right.
yourself and for others.
That's a good way to put it. yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all the other things, yes, those things change. And we try to help people know about that on our social media accounts, but also we will point you to the people that they're writing legislation right now. They were the ones helping get through no phones in school, those kinds of things. So we love Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation. I mean, this is all the science to back up kind of what's already in this book. It's all there written for you. But again, nitty gritty, but we've got to make it easy. So the book is easy.
Well, where can they find this book? How can they get it?
Yeah, you can go to our website, firstphonebook.com. You can buy it right there as a physical book, or you can do it as a digital download.
Yeah, good.
It's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome. And a quick read, like you said. So for people like me.
Good.
And what stuck out to me is you get it, you read it, and you're like, these are all the thoughts I've had put into one place.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. So it's really good. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Again, if you have not looked at their book, go to their website, go get it. You won't regret it at all. Spend the $12. For goodness sake, spend the $12. Yeah. And thanks for listening. We would love to continue the conversation with you. So we'd love to hear your stories about phones and social media and all those things. Or if you just have questions, or if you want to connect with the Robesons, how do they connect with you guys?
They can find us on Instagram.
Yep.
First Phone Book. They can look us up. You can message me. I've had lots of conversations with moms and dads, and Thomas is really great at coming up with a strategy or a plan for you as far as what kind of software to download. I mean, we're committed to helping whoever needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, walk that journey, or if you just want to be encouraged.
Yeah.
You know, we all need that.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
there you go.
So until you guys come out with your next book,
Yeah.
we'll have you back on and you can talk about that one.
Love it.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Man, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing us ramble about youth sports or other strangely interesting sports topics related to families, please go and like and subscribe to the show so that you can get regular updates when a new podcast is released. We'd also love to connect with you. Head on over to our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're under LC Sports and Recreation.
And if you're new to our podcast, go check out some of our previous episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's some good stuff on there. And pay attention because these come out pretty quickly, weekly, as a matter of fact. And you're going to learn a lot about what we have to say with regards to our league and how to win with the home team.